The Holy Door is a special dedicated entrance, which is for the pilgrims coming to profit from or take advantage of the special graces and blessings of a Jubilee year. So, for example, in the papal basilicas, there's 3-5 doors. One door is perpetually sealed up, except in the case of a holy year, at which point, for the holy year, that door is opened, and those pilgrims, as a special symbol of their desire for this reconciliation with God, enter through that particular door. The door is a metaphor for Christ, because we go through Christ into salvation. It's a metaphor for change, for transformation. It's a way of the pilgrim feeling that he or she really is taking a step towards something new. It's not the door itself that confers the power. It's the graces that are invoked on us by the Pope, and it is our own desire for conversion that activates, if you will, that door.
So before I get into the stuff of why Janus gets invoked first, I want to start looking at the door and obviously the connection with St. Peter and Janus. So here is one of the holy doors that is cemented up. So a holy door would need a holy key, right? It would, wouldn't it? So we start to see the connection with St. Peter and Janus. Peter, Pater, Father. Janus, Pater, Janus, Father, are both keepers of the key and gates, and they both are seen with keys. So this ritual that they're starting, they have to have an archpriest to watch over them. Why would you need all this? It's crazy, isn't it? So they have a little ritual. Here's a little video coming up of this ritual, and there was something fascinating that I found in this video.
In preparation for the opening on Christmas Eve of the Holy Door in St. Peter's Basilica, a brief ritual and prayer service were held late December 2nd. As the archpriest of the basilica and other priests prayed, workers broke into the wall that has sealed the door shut since the Jubilee of Mercy ended in late 2016. The workers removed a metal box, tied with a ribbon and sealed with wax, that contains the handles and the key to the Holy Door, as well as Vatican medals, documents about the last Holy Year, and 4 gold-covered bricks.
So what I picked on straight away was, this is some of the stuff that's came out of this box. So what happens, this box gets cemented into the door. So it's special, it means something to them. You get the handle, you get the key, you get medals, gold, and different things like that we're talking about. But what caught my eye was is it a copper or brass other box? I'm assuming it's brass or copper because it's oxidized and it's going green. But look at the image that's on it. Now, to me, this is two men representing Janus, Bifron's the two-faced, but he's also holding what to me looks like grapes. I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong because I am most of the time. But if it is grapes and the vine, there's something that connects this to Janus, and I'm going to explain now. It'll blow your mind. So this is from an old book, and it's just Noah, Italy and the Sea Peoples. In his Origini della Lingua Fiorentina, originally published in 1549, Pier Francesco Giamballiari makes an astonishing claim that the language of Dante takes its origin from Hebrew. Brought to Italy by Noah, the inventor of wine, who is known as Janus. So, who's the god of doorways, archways, portals, and everything else it seems? And he's also known as Noah, the first shipbuilder, maritime law, all this, and the inventor of wine. So on the box, which I wonder what was in there is an image of two people holding what looks like grapes. And if so, is this why? Because they're showing you the connection. 100% slam dunk for me, it is. But again, we see things, don't we? But it blows my mind, so I'll carry on reading it. So, brought to you to Italy by Noah, the inventor of wine, who goes by the name of Janus. Settled and died there. This belief is repeated by Fabricius in his Codex Pseudepigraphus of the Old Testament in 1713, and the same story is again told by Fuchs, writing in 1849. He accepts the legend as true, even as his predecessors did, and quotes it, merely translating Giamballiari's words freely into German and even Tophane as late as 1929. So basically they're saying Janus was known as Noah also, and he's the inventor of wine. What do you see on one of the holy boxes that's in it? Two people holding what looks or could be grapes on the vine. Janus symbolism, and it's just absolutely stuck me for sick. So now I'm gonna edit in again why Janus gets evoked first at all prayers. So let's get on with the video. You just saw the last bit of me talking and her talking about evoking, talking about activating the door. Well, they have to pray to Janus first, and this is from an old book that I found many years ago. It talks about a few things that I will go into now. It was dedicated to the god Janus, who presided at the beginning of each and every end, a Roman archaic deity of which we have no record of Greek gods. There is, I've showed you him. Even his name is not yet clear on what is derived, although seems connected to terms that indicate a movement, a crossing, a transition, a transformation, as we've just been talking about. In their prayers was the god that the Romans cited first. So get that. In their prayers was the god that the Romans cited first. You have to go through, you have to cross, you have to bridge. He's a bridge. To confirm that it was his prerogative was also called Ionos Pater, Janus Father. Pater is Peter. And Diorum, which is like I am God, I am King, and I'll show you a little bit on a sec. And these are all epithets still linked to the archaic era. So they had to evoke him first. So when you see him praying at the door, which is a door, he's a god of doorways and portals. It's funny that they don't mention this, isn't it? It's like, oh, we're opening up portals. But what about the god of doors? Who is Peter, Pater, and the Vatican, and the first king and pope. All this we're going to show. So get ready, guys, and hopefully you can enjoy the ride. So I just want to read this little bit out. It's from Janus in Roman Life and Cult, a study in Roman religions. And in the middle, this is a bit I'm just going to read out. Macrobius says that Janus is called Deorum Deus in the most ancient song of the Salians. The first line therefore must refer to Janus. The other three lines Professor Allen renders the Curions of Janus have in truth perceived clear omens. Thou art the good creator, good Janus. In Paulus Festus also the word Ceros is translated creator. Therefore these lines include Janus among the gods of generation. It is to be noted also that at the remote time when the song was formulated, Janus was of sufficient importance to be hailed as God of gods. So there you have it, God of gods. They state he is the God of gods. Crazy, huh? So the little bit after that it says that the rustic rituals described by Cato furnish other prayers in which Janus holds first place. That's why they changed the months. This hardy old advocate of the simple life prescribes that a sacrifice to be offered to Ceres before harvest. Careful directions are given as a preliminary. Wine and incense were offered to Janus first, to Jupiter and to Juno, who were all connected with their prayers. Then the cakes called strews were presented to Janus with the petition that he propitius mihi librisque meas donov familiac meo. So whatever that says in Latin. So I'm just wanted to show you that Janus to them is a god of gods. To the cult of Janus, he's first amongst all. So hence why they're doing a ritual at the Vatican with his doors. Right guys, I hope you're ready for a ride, because a little bit of this, most of you will know it because you've watched me for a long time, but some of it is just not me for six, and I'm shocked to be honest, and I found it by accident. Not this, I've covered this before, but we'll get to it. So I want to show you the association of how Janus Noah is Peter, one and the same, and when they talk about him being the first Pope, St. Peter, it's actually Janus, and this will make the sense now when you're seeing, oh, why are they doing this holy ritual, opening holy doors and portals? And then you ask, well, who's the god of doors and portals? Then you go, ah, yes, now it makes sense. So here we go. And Janus, Noah's choice to settle opposite Rome on the left bank of the Tiber, prefigured St. Peter's association with the Vatican, because Janus was the first Pontifex Maximus, basically like a high priest, the chief priest. He was also in effect the first pope, and Peter his successor. Peter's keys preserve Janus Noah's ancient association with doors, hence why Peter is always shown with a key and associated with the cock, just like Janus. So here's something else now. It's intriguing because again I want to paint a picture of why this is significant and why they're doing this. So Janus holds the keys to the true esoteric religion of the original Gnostics, who we can call the first Christians. He is the initiator into Gnosis and the secret mysteries. In the Catholic religion, so this is why they're opening the portals, the secret mysteries, gaining access. Some people could call them the Akashic records or the Akashic records and things like this. It's knowledge. Janus becomes Saint Peter. Jesus says to Peter, I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. So they want to unleash something. Again, one of the doors is in a prison, symbolic. So not just symbolic because it is in a prison, but what they're trying to unbound in heaven. Is there something caged up in there, or they're letting something out, or do they want to get into something? So I want to just emphasize on this a little bit before I carry on. So as you know, Gnostic and Gnosis stems is knowledge. Gnosis is the Greek word that means knowledge. It comes from the Indo-European root gno, from which the English word knowledge is derived. In late antiquity, Gnosis was used to designate an intuitive awareness of the hidden mysteries as opposed to discursive analytic knowledge. So that's what Gnosis means. But a long time ago, I split up in an etymology, a spell etymology. I split knowledge up. So you have know, K-N-O-W, and then ledge. So obviously, know is gnosis. Let's have a look what ledge is. So quickly, a narrow horizontal surface projecting from a wall, a cliff or other surfaces, an underwater ridge, especially of rocks beneath the sea, near the shore, a reef ledge. But let's go down to the origin. English lay. Yes, the same as lie lines, ley lines. Middle English denoting a strip of wood or other material, and I highlight it so you can actually see even more, across a door, a gate. So we're saying knowledge, gnosis. Obviously we're talking about that. People talk about the pineal gland, and remember the pineal, occult name for the pineal gland is Janus. You have the pinecone symbolism in the Vatican, separated by two peacocks, showing you Janus befronts his face. So gnosis, or knowledge, is talking about gnosis and the door and the gates. Perhaps from an early form of ledge, dates from the mid 16th century. So there you go. Is that not a wow? That knowledge is associated with a door, a gate and a portal. Mind blown, hey? So again, we'll carry on. He is depicted as the holder of the keys of heaven in his right hand, and the weapon called like a halberd in the other. And this person, Helen P. Blavatsky, states that Janus is the source of the later role of St. Peter as the keeper of the gates of heaven with his keys. Janus was the head of the 12 gods, while St. Peter was also the head of the 12 apostles. The statue of Janus, and I don't believe it's there now, but underneath that statue laid the 12 altars at his feet, symbolising the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 great gods, the 12 months of the solar year, and the 12 apostles of the Son Christ. Janus presided over the 4 seasons, Peter presided over the 4 evangelists. Yes, so in the zodiac is Janus too, and astrology. I've been telling you that and showing you that for years. But what's funny is one of the oldest symbols that the Freemasons use for knowledge, enlightenment, portals, whatever you want to call it, they don't actually really say, because it's a hidden mystery. They don't want us to know. And that's on the right. It's the 2 St. Johns. The 2 St. Johns. St. John the Evangelist and St. John the Baptist. The guardian, what you can see, is like a enlightenment, the pineal gland, and the circumpunct it's called. And on the left is, I showed you this before, the Green Lantern symbol on its side is the same symbol. They've been showing you forever, hidden in plain sight. But let's get back to this, because there was something I found by accident, and we're talking about, obviously you can see it at the top, about the original Gnostics, who we can call the first Christians. Let's split that word up, so you have Christ, Ian. First bit, self-explanatory, isn't it? Ian is of Scottish Gaelic origin and is a Scottish version of the name John. It comes from the Hebrew name Yohanan, and means God is gracious, or the Lord is gracious. Ian can also be spelled Ian with Lain, and as you know, Janus's oldest name is Aia. The name is imbued with a sense of history and Scottish heritage, while also feeling fresh and lively. So Ian from Christian stems from John. But where does John come from? John stems from Janus. So, and some people will say this is a stretch. Could Christians mean Christ Janus? And that blew me away when I found it many years ago. Now, to go slightly off track a little bit, but it was a wow, and I had to include it in this video. So as you can see on the screen, shalom, shalom, peace, peace, Isaiah 26:3. 2:6 is 8 and 3 is 11, and shalom. Now you've all heard this, and some of you might use it. Now I want to show you a few things, and then it'll come to you why I'm including this. In the original, it is shalom, shalom. Like why say it twice? It's like you've got two heads. So if you can harness the mind, we talked about the mind already, and knowledge, and keep it focused on the Lord, and if you can trust him implicitly, he promises double shalom, basically double peace, double prosperity, double health, double blessing, nothing missing and nothing broken. Another word for this, or meaning for this, is, as you can see, what's the difference between shalom and shalom, shalom? It is simple. The word shalom repeated 2 times. Hebrew grammar does not have comparative and superlative adjectives like good, better or best. To show degrees, it just repeats a word. A bit like New York, so good you had to name it twice, which is an 11th state. So this is not just peace, but the best peace, better than the world can give according to Jesus. And again, look at it, John. So John is Janus. Some say Janus is Jesus. Anyway, while they were saying these things, he himself stood in their midst and said to them, Shalom to you. Luke 24:36. Glory to the God in the highest, and on earth shalom among men, with whom he is pleased. Luke 2:14. So if you look at that, it talks about, God, Jesus saying this. He stood there in the midst and said, Shalom to you. Is he saying shalom as peace be with you? Or is shalom a name? There's some people say it is a God's name, but I'm not going to get too much into that bit, because what I found blew me away. So quickly read this out, and it talks about, as I was saying, some people call shalom God, and it was Gideon. Gideon builds an altar to the Lord and calls it Jehovah Shalom, recognizing that it was the Lord who had brought peace to his life and would bring peace to the Israelites. So he called him, Jehovah Shalom, God Shalom. So that's just what I was referring to. Right, let's carry on. And I mean, literally. So you can just see there, Shalom, how insignificant that is. And also, it is a greeting also. It also means hello and goodbye. The beginning and the end. Yes, that's a clue. That word is derived from Janus, and there are even Janus greetings like aloha, ciao, and shalom, which can be used for hello or goodbye. Janus's words arise because of pulsami. Words get their meaning from their use, and as words are used in new circumstances, new meanings arise. I've just got so emotional, and I don't know why. The significance of that is astounding. Now, people always talk about Janus being evil. He's not. It's the intent and who uses it. We are Janus, basically. People will say, want Trump to be Janus. Everyone show aspects of this. He's the door, he's the gateway, he's the portal. And to understand that hello and goodbye is one of the words basically derived from his name, and I've been researching it for all these years, and I just accidentally came across that today. Now, you can deny it, that's your prerogative, but it's information being put out there that I've not, hey, this is this. It's not. Other people have talked about this. So it's information that we have to use. I never discard information because we need it to compare to other things. And you are telling me that shalom, aloha, ciao is basically a Janus word, meaning it's derived from Janus. How significant is that? That is epic. And I'm just proud that I could find that and put it together with you, so you can see the significance of everything so far and my research on Janus, to show you what the Vatican is and why Janus was the first Pope, High Priest, King of the Vatican. It's mind-blowing. Now, the Vatican has a special holy door, and that door is St. Peter's. Well, you know who St. Peter is now. And as we now know, Peter is father and the first pope, Janus. But Janus also has another symbol. It's the IYI. It's a very old symbol used around Europe. And as you can see it on the holy door. It's the crucifixion. But it appears it comes from the holy temple of Janus. It's his doorway and posts. So there you can see just how influential Janus is. Even the IYI is from his temple. And what we'll do is we'll zoom in and you'll see a cockerel on an arch. Who's the god of arches? Now, people said the cockerel's associated with St. Peter because he denied God 3 times. By the time, the cock crows 3 times. And as you know, the St. Peter, so he's associated with the cockerel. There's he's holding the keys. But what if they've used it before, they got it from someone else? Janus is pictured here with the key and the cock. You can see they are both one in the same. And it's just wow, it just blows me away when you get down to the bones of it and you find out that it's all coming from Janus. So as we're talking about cocks, I just had to, as we're talking about cocks and cockerels, St. Peter and Janus being one in the same, there is something that I've talked about briefly in old videos and on social media. So I'll read it out and then I'll basically show you what I mean. So in the clearest of terms, it's got to do with being, the term Peter meaning father. So in the clearest of terms, Jesus tells his disciples that what almost every element of the parable represents. The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is in the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sowed them is the devil. So we're on about the creating a new life. So Concevius, or Deus Concevius, also Concevius, is the god of propagation and insemination, from concere to sow. It is a title of Janus as a creator god or god of beginnings. So yes, that art of creating new life, the insemination process, has to do with obviously the penis going through the pubic arch, the archway. The father with the keys sewing goes through the arch. Now what gets me is, what is Peter slang for? Now this is just, I've heard this, you might not have done. Anyway, so noun, obscene term for penis. Synonyms, pecker, pricks, puts, tool. So Peter is another name for penis. So is John Thomas. What is funny is Peter's father was called John, and remember, John is a derivative of Janus, so you can't get away with this. So we're talking about Concevius and the art of insemination, and obviously the penis and the cock. Now look at an old image of Janus. Obviously the penis doesn't have 2 faces, but it symbolises the penis head. That is why Janus is god of Concevius. He's there at the moment of creation. And it's funny that it's all connected with St. Peter, his father John, and the slang terms for the penis, the cock. And they're both associated with the cock at the feet. Tell me, this is what I'm trying to show in this video. The awe, the wow, how these connections have not been shown before. Putting it all together in some videos for you guys to just take a look, and you know what, he has a point there. You don't have to believe it, but come on, it's right in front of our faces. That's why people around the world cut the foreskin off. Four originally had 4 heads, then he's down to 2, so they're cutting off the head to reveal the 2, what he is in now, the 2-headed form. It's in your face. The information is. So you've just saw me showing you about the penis, and obviously how when you procreate it has to be hard, rock hard. Peter, all associated with rock, and father. Now look at the statistics that I have found. 9th of November, so 9 add the 2 ones is 11. Circumcision is one of the most common surgeries done worldwide. In rate of circumcisions are up 80%, but while globally it's about 38%. What's 3 add 8? Oh yes, another 11. And the date adds 2, 9 and the 11, 9/11. It's just in your face, and I just hopefully, guys, you can see this. So now I'll be carrying on, and here's an interesting fact that you would have all seen about what's the Pope's title. So remember, Janus is Ionos, Pater or Pater. He's the Father and God of gods. Pater meaning Father. Pope, the word Pope derives from the Greek meaning Father. In the early centuries of Christianity, this title was applied especially in the East to all bishops and all other senior clergy, and later became reserved in the West to the Bishop of Rome, a reservation made official only in the 11th century. You telling me they reserved that title in the 11th century? Janus' number and Janus being the father. That to me is beyond a coincidence. So none of you believe in coincidences, right? Not anymore. So here you have St. Peter's crucifixion, and I've showed you all the connections now, so we know who it is. So he's been crucified on the cross, and as you know, another name for cross is rood, which is a door. Backwards. So he's been crucified on the door. He's been crucified in between 2 metae, M-E-T-A-E, plural for meta. Meta in Hebrew means death. But also in this term, it's referring to a boundary, a transition, so it's right in your face. So 2 metae, 1 metae is meta. And we can see about the 11s and Peter getting crucified. So what if an old, one version of history, because there's always different versions, we can go out and find different people's opinions on any topic, but the one I like to show is, so St. Peter, and according to tradition, Peter was crucified in Rome on the Janiculum Hill. That's just a coincidence, they'll tell you. So what one version is, he was crucified, Peter, no connection, they'll tell you, to Janus. So they crucified him on Janus's hill. In between 2 11s on the door. And we're all told to believe this is just a coincidence. So that was one bit I just had to re-share with you guys, because I want to paint the picture of why they're doing this ritual, the connection to Janus and the Vatican, all these have in common. Then we can start painting the picture now of why they are doing it. So what I'm going to go into in a minute is just read some articles out showing you about the dates and the doors, because some people have been posting some intriguing, fascinating things in the meantime, since this has been going around the community, and I want to share that with you now. Right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to read it out from this paper, because this paper goes into a little detail on basically the locations and the dates that they're opening up the holy portals, and I found it was intriguing. So, Pope to open 5 holy doors at the Vatican starting Christmas Eve. So move down. Pope Francis will open 5 holy doors at the Vatican in a long-standing Catholic tradition, and will introduce a never-before-seen ritual. Every 25 years, the Pontiff opens 5 secret doors to mark the Jubilee year in the Catholic calendar. The tradition dates back to the 1300s, when it was decided it would be carried out every century, but that was then reduced to basically every 25 years. They were making money, basically. What was intriguing is with the last Jubilee, what you can see on the screen is basically the motto of it, and as you can see, it says the motto, merciful like the Father. Father, Pater, the Pope, taken from the Gospel of Luke 6:36, serves as an invitation to follow the merciful example of the Father, who asks not to judge or condemn, but to forgive, and to give love and forgiveness without measure. And when you're looking at this quickly, yes, he's he's got someone over his shoulders. But to me, they're trying to portray a two-headed figure. Have a look for yourself and see what you think. I think so, but again, that could just be my pareidolia of sorts. So let's carry on. So every 25 years, the pontiff opens 5 sacred doors to mark the Jubilee. I've read that. So the first time the holy doors of the 4 Roman basilicas were open to mark the special tradition was 1423, and they have been open regularly since. However, 2025 marks another first, as a symbolic door will be open in a Roman prison, making it the 5th sacred portal. So they're opening up a portal in a prison. And remember that Bible verse when it talks about letting loose on earth and let loose in heaven? It's intriguing, that, isn't it? Remember, hell and heaven is 11. So the Pope will begin this ritual to commence the Jubilee on Christmas Eve, as we know, when it will be open for the first sacred portal of the northeast entrance to St. Peter's Basilica. The door was closed with bricks following the celebration of the Jubilee year of Divine Mercy in 2016. But the bricks were taken off the door on December the 2nd in preparation for this ritual. So as you know, that door is St. Peter's, the Father's door, Janus's door, and it is basically bricked up. The power of the door, it was deactivated for that time. And it just gets your mind going, doesn't it? But like I was telling you before, 24 is 6. Add the 5 doors, it is an 11. And someone messaged me with that one, so thank you for that. And the next one will be opened on the 26th of December. And what's intriguing is, if you 2 and 6 is 8, and then add the 12 months, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it's another 11. They love to get the 11s in somewhere, and people tell me it's not a coincidence. So when the pontiff will open the symbolic door at the Roman prison Rebibbia for the feast of St. Stephen. So on Boxing Day they will open another door, and there is the second 11. So the first door and the second door will be open on 11s. I think of prisoners who, deprived of their freedom daily, feel the harshness of detention and its restrictions, lack of affection, and in more than a few cases, lack of respect, said Pope Francis. In order to offer prisoners a concrete sign of closeness, I would myself like to open a holy door in the prison as a sign inviting prisoners to look to the future, the beginning and the end, with hope and a renewed sense of confidence. On December the 29th, what was that, sorry? A 9 and 2 is, you got it, 11. So the first 3 doors are all going to be opened on the 11. What's 3 11s? Oh yes, 33. So on December the 29th, the holy door of the Basilica St. John Lateran, St. John, oh yes, and a derivative of Janus. Shh, we're not saying anything like that. Will be opened. Pope Francis is the bishop of this basilica. On New Year's Day, so we're going into the new year now, they started the vows, and now we're going into Janus's month. On New Year's Day, which is also the day of the Solemnity of Mary, the holy door will be opened at the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. The final sacred portal will be opened at the Papal Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls in Rome on January the 5th. On January the 6th, so that they're highlighting this. So the Papal Basilica of St. Paul outside will be on 5th of January. And then on January 6th, the holy doors will be shut. So they're making a point. What's 6 and 5? Oh yes, another 11. And they'll be shut and wait for the next Jubilee. So they're talking about the year of the Jubilee. The idea for the year of Jubilee dates back to Old Testament, first mentioned in Leviticus 25. This special time only came around once every 50 years. After the completion of 7 cycles of 7 years or 49 years, the following holy year was marked with the sounding of a ram's horn trumpet. Horn or a ram is associated to Janus also. You can see him with horn basically on his head. The Jubilee year was a year of atonement for the Israelites of the Old Testament. According to the Lord's command, they were supposed to release all their servants and prisoners, forgive all debts, return property acquired from one another to its rightful owner, rest as they did for the Sabbath, and come home to their property if they were residing away from it. So it's basically just going into the Bible. But I just wanted to show you those locations of the ritual, the holy portals. Now, you will have seen this on social media. I'll just come to it now and find it on here for you. And basically it is a map of Rome and the locations of these ritual portals being open. They've exaggerated a little bit by putting the lines through, but that's to portray how much it resembles Lucifer's sigil. It does. Now, I'm always worried when things like this appear, so whoever's done it, well done, you know, for putting the information out there. It's really good research. So I thought, you know what, I have to double check. So I put the locations in the the Google Earth, and as you can see at the side, I've not penned them in, but you can see they do well exact match to the locations that you see in the screen. So it is correct. So that blew me away. So, as you know, if you followed me for a long time, Lucifer, also known as the Lightbringer, goes by other names. And one of his other names is, yes, you got it, Janus, which I've showed you in other videos. And other variations are Ohans and Dagon and different things like that. These are all epithets of Janus, who taught humans, basically, you know, knowledge, sacred knowledge. That we're talking about these portals at the beginning. Remember, sacred knowledge, the gnosis. It just blows my mind. So whoever did that map original, and it's out on social media, well done to you guys. You know, really good stuff, and it is correct. That's where the locations are, because I've just done it myself on the map. And it's just a coincidence again that Lucifer's sigil comes across, and Lucifer is another name for Janus, which I've showed you in videos for other years. So you just can't get away from this information that Janus is basically the Vatican, the forebearer, the first, hence why he gets prayed to first. It's just, I get excited and I just can't wait to share this info with you guys. You know, hopefully you're enjoying it like I have. So I want to add a funny little tidbit to this, because it's ironic and it made me laugh when I found this many years ago. So as you can see on the screen, this is the janitor of the Vatican. He holds the keys, but his name is Gianni Crea, and it must be a pure coincidence. His name is a derivative of Janus. Just made me laugh that the actual janitor of the Vatican is named a derivative of Janus. It just made me chuckle out. It's like, do we believe in coincidence anymore? And as you know, a part of the St. Peter's Basilica where the Holy Door is, and a bit of the old part look like a key. And we're talking about the Vatican opening up portals and doorways. Well, not only is that Janus's name, he is a god of that. In an old video, and I did was it last year, and it was actually titled Deorum, or Janus. And in that, Ovid talks to Janus, and he goes through a few things. So I will play that in a minute after sharing a little theory. Now, we all can disagree and have a different opinion on where we live, but as an electromagnetic world where people talk about poles, well, have a look at this. So the magnetic North Pole is moving, and it could play havoc with your smartphone's navigation function. A team of American and British scientists have released the latest update to the world magnetic model. This will officially move the magnetic North Pole closer to Siberia. What date is that, sorry? Oh yes, 1st of January. 1st of January. Whose month? So let's just add up those dates. 1 for the 1st of January, Another 1 for January, that's 2. Add the 2, that's 4. Add the other 2, 6. And the 5 is, yes, you got it, another 11. Another portal, another doorway. Ooh, that just must be, again, another coincidence. So have this in mind when I'm talking about the magnetic poles. And here is what Janus himself told Ovid. Now tell me this can't be coincidence. So I'll come back to this once you watch the clip, and then we'll go over it again with the conclusion of sorts. So back to Ovid, and this will be maybe near the end because I've done a lot in this video and I've still not done my thoughts. So again, in his own words, he states, yeah, this is Janus obviously, he is the governance of the turning of the poles. Of the turning poles. Now that got me thinking, hey Paul, do you remember a long time ago, many years now, you found 2 islands in this realm, both called Janus. One was in Antarctica and one of them was in Greenland. Opposite poles of sorts, opposite ends of this realm, whatever shape you want to think about it. They're opposite each other, like 2 faces. And one of them was Janus in Greenland, as you can see it on the screen, and the other one was Janus Island in Antarctica. Could this be what they're referring to? He is the 2 poles, and these islands, like I've talked about, could be gateways to more land, or as I've said in the videos, like the poles, the electric poles, how the current works in this realm, how the energy is created. That just blew me away, that, guys. It really did. Right, guys, so I want to paraphrase slightly, but go over a theory from that. Hopefully you'll understand. To be honest, it shocked me. It's not me for 6, as the saying goes. Like I've said in this video already, some things have. And I didn't necessarily believe in these things, but if they believe in it, we have to look at it, surely. And they are opening up 5 poles, right? So you've already just seen Janus telling Ovid that he is basically the governance of the turning of the poles. So is the energy from opening these poles being used to shift the poles? Now, you can believe in it or not, could they be shifting something? Or is it to open a prison door? Now, we're talking about, could it be information, knowledge that they're trying to open, like a safe? Is it what people call the source, a Akashic or Akashic records? They're trying to download all this information by using a key. Hence the 2 St. Johns, aka Janus, guarding the sacred portal. Are they trying to open that? But I want to talk about this prison slightly, because overnight, I'm going through the video in my head and a few things pop into it. Now, what I'm going to play in now is in no specific order, but I tried something new. I wanted to use an AI voice to read out to make it a bit more dynamic. So when I read this out, I will then come back and go over it to see what you guys think. So could this be why they opening up the poles? So take a listen to this.
For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. 2 Peter 2 verse 4. Revelation 9 tells us that under the 5th trumpet judgment John sees a star fall from heaven to earth. This star is Satan, and he is given the key to the bottomless pit. Using this key, Satan unleashes a plague of supernatural demons resembling locusts. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon.
So guys, you just saw that and it blew me away. Could this be why they are opening the 5 poles to unleash Abaddon? Now, different people have different theories. Like, Abaddon is a realm as well as a fallen angel. There's so many theories on this, but this is what I'm asking. Are they trying to unleash this realm on this realm using, because remember, everything is supposed to be sound, frequency and vibration, and as I've showed you with Janus, he is the doorway, the gateway. You have to go through him no matter who you are praying to. So they are going using Janus's power to open up this portal, this doorway to Abaddon. Now look at the things that I was talking about. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. 2 Peter 2:4. I've told about these chains being ley lines, otherwise known as lie lines. Is this them being chained? But look at the verse. It's Peter. Peter, Pater, Father. First one. Next one. Revelation 9 tells us that under the 5th trumpet, under the 5th judgment, John sees a star fall from the heaven to earth. John, derivative of, yes, Janus. So we see a star fall from heaven to earth, from the celestial. This star is Satan, and he is given the key to the bottomless pit. Using this key, Satan unleashes a plague of supernatural demons resembling locusts. I've told you about how we are living in a chamber, a burial chamber, a room, from my spell etymology videos. Lastly, they have over them as the king of the angel of the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon. Revelation 9:11. 9:11. 9 add 1 is 10. Add the other 1 is 11. So the doorway, the portal, number 11, and they are trying to use it to open for Apollyon or Abaddon. Then when you start looking at it, 5 portals being opened, and this fallen angel with the same name as this realm, Abaddon, is introduced after the 5th trumpet of judgment is blown. 5 portals being open, and there's 5 trumpets. Can you get any more symbolic than that? This has literally, honestly, emotional shock, whatever you want to call it. I just can't believe it. And to put this together for you guys, it's an honour for me to do it. Hopefully you can see why I've put this section in and why I don't know what to say. 5 portals being opened, including a prison with the same name as this realm, and it's introduced after 5th trumpet of judgment is blown, and they're doing it using 5 portals, 5 doorways being opened, all the connection between Janus, the gatekeeper, and the mind blown. See what you guys think on that, but that is wow. So you might be asking, after seeing those wows, why Janus again? Well, in my old video, Deus Deorum, I answer that. This is Janus's own words again. So let's get back to some Ovid. Remember, these are Janus's words to Ovid. Janus tells Ovid about his almighty power over the universe, a power which expresses itself in overseeing every transition, opening and closing, both of, and this is very significant, and I'm going to put a slow-mo in, of mortal and immortal beings.
And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon.
Wow. Hence the Janus links in all rituals the Elites conduct. It's common sense now that I've showed you this, isn't it? Now, again from Janus's words from Ovid. Janus said, whatever you see, sky, sea, clouds, earth, all things are begun and ended by my hand. So tell me that's not a wow.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome. Right guys, as always, I want to say a big thank you for anyone that has liked, shared and subscribed. Please, you've been breathtaking. It gets me emotional because time is precious and you give me yours. So thank you guys for just being you. For anyone who wants to help me or the channel, you can just hit the QR code that is buy me a coffee, or as I relabel it, buy me a bar. And all help is truly appreciated. It gets me emotional because I know times are hard, but you really are helping me in the channel. So if you want to do that, that is a link to that. It'll also be in the description. So on with the video. What can I say? But wow, I was shaking with excitement, but also wow, what have I just put together at the end of that? It started off with me just re-uploading an old video. See, where this begins is this topic of the holy doors and the holy portals. I made a video on it 4 years ago, but like anything happens in in the community, people are getting so excited over, and some are getting scared, some are getting worried over the holy portals, the holy doors. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? And people were messaging me, contacting me, Paul, have you saw this? What's going on? And I'm like, you do realise I made a video on this 4 years ago? It was shit, but I still made one. Does that count? So that was 4 years ago I made that. And people saying, well, re-upload it. What happened? I lost the original channel and I never re-uploaded it. If you want to watch that video in its full context of how I made it then, please go to the Odyssey and type in the Black Sheep Researcher, and you'll see the Holy Door ritual right near the bottom, and you can watch that. But most of that, some of that has gone into this video, together with my video Deus Deorum and Janus the Skeleton Key. Maybe one more. I've gone into this video to make what you can see today, trying to answer the question, show you what the connection is between Janus, St. Peter, the Vatican, and then at the end just postulate a theory to why. I don't want to put too many in it because this one has just basically kicked me in the nuts, as they say, because it's like, wow, that makes sense. And hopefully you guys are saying the same. Hopefully you're getting excited and like taken aback about the connections. So let's begin. So that is why I made the video. I was supposed to just re-upload the original, and made it, did a bit of editing, and I wasn't happy with it. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to re-edit the re-edit. And today is what you're seeing now. So instead of showing me my old thoughts, I want to talk about the new one, because obviously I've added some of the new stuff on the reason why they're opening the holy portals. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. It came to me in a dream, in my thoughts, because when I go over videos, I like to go over what stuff I can put in, and that verse came to me, and I'm like, wow, there is a reason. Sometimes I don't like putting this stuff in because I don't want to doom and gloom, but when they, or whoever they are, the Elites, the Elshites, I call them, are postulating what's going on, I'm like, could this be a reason? So I'll go over that, and hopefully you've enjoyed what you're watching. So I wanted to show the connection, like I was saying, of Janus, because when you're seeing these videos of just the faces and or a portal behind them, and they're talking about they're opening up 5 portals and it's the end of the world and blah blah blah, this is the agenda that I have had to deal with, because you guys know me for making loads of other content, but a topic that I like to talk about quite a bit is Janus. And why are these people who make this content not telling you about the God who is the God of portals? It's strange, isn't it? Because you're not getting as much information. Now you could say they don't know, which some won't, but a lot of these people who make this content are followers of my channels, and they use my video content, you know, the theories in there, and that's the inspiration. but you don't hear them mentioning me. It's like, why don't I do many collabs? Because people don't talk to me. They don't want to know. I reach out and I just get ignored for whatever reason. So, I mean, that's the prerogative. We do what we want on our own channels, but I just put a self-imposing ban. That's it. I'm not going to do any more collabs. I'm just sick of being ignored. And the old me had an ego. Listen, we've all got an ego, so it's good to acknowledge that, and it's how you use it. And the old one would have been upset that, hey, they're talking about all these polls, they're not mentioning Janus and they're not mentioning me. And that's the ego, and you have to get away from that. And luckily, you know, how I've been brought up, I've separated it. I just thought, you know what, the only people that matter are you guys. That's why I tell you all the time, I appreciate you guys, because the countless times you guys have recommended me to channels, hey, get Paul on. How of them have taken them up? You can talk on one hand. They just don't want. Now, is that because the content's shite? Probably. Is it because of me? Probably. But instead of digressing, I'll move on. So, why is this agenda on not revealing who it is? And it's crazy. They just don't want to. So, if you're looking at they're opening doors and portals, where they're opening to. But who is the god of doors? Janus. Who is the first pope? Who is the Vatican? Janus. He is the gatekeeper. He is the archetypal of these people. He is the one that everything has to go through. You heard him tell Ovid, and I took a picture on my phone because if you have write it down, it'll be all day. I think you have. Have I? Watch me have not done it. Yeah, I have. So he tells Ovid about how his almighty power over the universe. Basically, he has the power over the universe and expresses itself in overseeing every transition, opening and closing. Basically, anything, even both mortal and immortal. That's why I slowed that down. So everything has to go through him. So if they're opening portals, it doesn't matter if you think Janus is good or bad, or them. He is a god of gods, according to them and ancient books and ancient philosophers. Now, you can disregard that, say, no, he's not. That's your prerogative. Does not change the information. It's still not out there. So, to reminisce over that, I was like, whoa, I forgot about that bit. Everything has to go through him. He is the universe. He is the beginning. He is creation, according to this information and these guys. Hence why I put in about the penis. Because he's known as conceivus. So the art of conceiving, where the male phallic goes through the pubic arch, it is the Peter, the pearly gates. Impregnation, the seed, sowing the seed. That's why they cut the head, basically off the hood off, to reveal the two heads instead of the four, because he is now down to the Janus Bifron stage. And it's like, it makes sense. I mean, even in his other epitaph of the Egyptian creation god Khnum, I'm coming, is what is said, oh God, at the ecstasy of an orgasm. He's everywhere. He even is a rendition of, through his etymology, if you've watched my old videos, of nut and noon. What was another word for coming? Nutting. So, what can you do but show these things? So, that just gets me excited in the sense of, wow, he's telling Ovid. Now, Ovid could be talking bollocks. It could be. But it's there in his story, his story. Tor is door, remember? So everything's about doors. I am the way. I am the door. Who says that? So we have a process of they're opening up five portals, and one of them is in prison. And you saw my journey from the beginning of the video, saying, why are they opening up a prison door? The symbolic of being someone who's been in chains. And when we got to the end, I got to, come on Paul, to the portion of Revelation 9 tells us that, sorry, that's the next one. So from 2 Peter 2:4 it says, for if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. So I've talked about this in my videos on ley lines and lie lines. Well, as you saw from this video, ley, etymology is ledge, which is from a door. So the lie lines are doorways. Doorways to what? To where? So when we're talking about ancient folklore, talking about ancient portals, it's these ley lines, doorways, the pixies, the elves, the goblins, the leprechauns, all these types of furry folk. And that intrigued me. So they've chained something. And I've done about the videos, remember me, Elohim Electric Lords video, going into all this. Then you get to Revelation 9, it tells us that under the fifth trumpet, judgment, John sees a star fall. John, Peter, they're all derivatives and of Janus. Is that a coincidence? Are we supposed to ignore that because it might hurt someone's feelings? That some part of history has stated this. John sees a star fall from heaven to earth. This star is Satan, and he is giving the key to the bottomless pit. I've told you from etymology of celestial and everything, we live in a cave. This says that Satan has been bound. Again, how many videos have I just done recently telling you about being bound under the earth? And I didn't want to put everything in because I didn't want to go too away from this. So he's been bound in the earth, and he wants to use his key, Satan, to unleash a plague of supernatural demons resembling locusts. So tell me, why do we have to ignore these things because it might hurt someone's feelings? That's why the truth is faith. So when we start talking about these things, and then you get to the binger of and the fifth trumpet, and there's 5 portals, that correlation could have been any number. Will those two match? So if they're opening 5 portals, is that to match the 5 trumpets and the sounding call? Who knows? But in Revelation 9:11, 9 add the 2 ones, 11, we learn about another high-ranking fallen angel. He's called Abaddon in Hebrew, literally meaning destruction, and Apollyon in Greek, literally meaning one who destroys. Both names can be summarized as meaning destroyer. He is the angel of the bottomless pit, and is king of the demonic forces, and so on. And some say that Abaddon is a realm, also a name of an angel and a realm. So are they opening up the 5 poles to represent the 5 trumpets, the energy from this, the sound, the frequency, the energy? Is this what is opening up what is known as the bottomless pit? If we are already in this pit and this is chained up beneath the earth in these ley lines, is that what they are breaking up, bringing that reality into this reality? Why is there 11 and Peter and John all derivatives and numbers of Janus in it? It's like the St. Peter being Janus out, and you know, people say he's Janus, some say he's based on Janus came first, and you're asking yourself, so Peter, the Petros, the rock, another word of when you get hard, the penis, it's rock hard, and it's a Peter. Tell me if that's enough's not a funny and wow type of information. Goes through the gates, the pubic arch, to sow the seed. It just intrigues me, and I get excited, and I'm getting like, whoa. So we're talking about a ritual that has to go through Janus. That is why the Vatican is doing it. It starts off with St. Peter's door, the Father's door, that gets cemented up with the keys, picture of a vine on it, and all the medals and gold. Janus is connected to money. So those dates and the 24th of Christmas Eve, 2 and the 4 and the 5 doors did add to 11. Thank you for the flocker who told me that. Got me thinking. Well, the next day, Boxing Day, added to 11. Then the third day, so the first 3 doors added to 33. Then there was a gap of a different day, and then back to the 11. So the symbology is there, and the doorway, the gateway represented by that, is what St. Peter was crucified upside down on a cross, which the cross, an old word for cross is rude, which is door reverted. So he's crucified on a door in between 2 matai pillars, the 11. So he was crucified on the door in between 2 11s on Janus's hill. Coincidence, coincidence, coincidence. It's all a coincidence. But I will say I'm very, very proud to put all this together for you guys. I'm not saying it's all my work, because we get inspiration from everyone. And it's about trying to remember to give those people's tilt the cap their thank you. So we're talking about the reasons: 5 doors, 5 trumpets, Apollyon. Are they trying to get that reality merged with ours? And they have to use Janus, who is Deus Deorum, the God of gods, and linked to the other God. And that's one of the things I've said over the years. People say, well, it can't be that God. Why is he that God, that God, that God? Exactly. Ask yourself. You would if you was an ounce of truth. If you was walking down the street and you notice every shop was called the same thing, you'd be like, why are they calling every shop the same thing? And you can see from the information. So a couple of things I put in was, could it be they're trying to break the door of the prison down? Is it to trying to get this gnosis, this knowledge, by opening the portals, like cracking the safe? These are all just me thinking, what ifs? But it makes sense, and it fits the pattern. Another one was talking about, a lot of people talk about how the poles are shifting, so you can believe in what reality you think it is, but people do talk about the poles are shifting. And here is Ovid listening to Janus telling him, hey, I'm the governance of the 2 poles. Fucking hell. And years ago, I found 2 islands, the 2 poles, one in the north, one in the south, called Janus. What's the odds on that? Why have they named them that and put them at opposite ends? There's a reason. I might have not gotten the real reason, or it could be something else. I postulate in these videos that I've done over the years, could this be the doorways, the gateways to land outside of this? I've also talked about our theory that the ice wall, if it surrounds us, is slowly moving, creating the energy for this realm, and they are in labs trying to recreate this, and they call it spin ice. That's something I've theorized on and put in posts and videos for a long time. So that was another reason. And then to find out that they're saying the North Pole is moving on January the 1st. Janus says he is the governance, he's in charge of the poles. He is the poles. And it's moving on the 1st of January. And adding January and the month and the year comes to that number. How many coinkydinks do we need for you to say, you know what, Paul, you might have had a point all these years? You know what I mean? You guys know it. because you've watched the content for the years. I mean, we all forget little bits. I even forget little bits, like some of the stuff on Ovid that I included in the Deus Deum, the Autumn video. That just blew me away. So it gave me an answer. Well, they want to open the doorway and gateway, and you have to go through Janus because he's a god of gods. But now, in his own words, he tells you that even if it's immortal, it still has to go through him. It's just wow. And the pole is moving on that day, and I'm like, so are they shifting the poles for a nefarious gain? And you're thinking, if these poles are like an electromagnetic, it's like a prison cell door. You saw them, you can use a swipe card and it goes bang, and the door opens. It's basically a magnetic lock. You break that circuit, the door opens. So are they moving the poles to break that circuit? The circuit is, other words for a circuit is circle. I've put that in video. So if you look at the realm, the cave floor that I've talked about being circle, it represents the circumpunct, but also the image that they have with the two St. Johns guarding the portal, which are Janus. So are they indicating and showing you those islands that if you break that circuit, Apollyon or Satan or whatever you want to call it, that realm then merges into this reality, creating a phase. If you remember them series like Fringe, when they made like windows to view the other realm, but also they, when they changed the frequency, they merged into this realm and it destroyed things. So are they trying to bring this prison realm or other realm into this reality by opening up these portals? Are they only allowed to talk? Is that what it is? Is it like a way of contacting that side, and you're only allowed to do it X amount of years? Is that why they're doing it? Is it to sort information, knowledge? They're trying to get a download of information. Who knows? It could be all or none of these things. But when they're all connected to Janus, and these people are refusing to talk about Janus, and I mean 99%, or I could say 95, whatever, but it's near enough most of them won't mention this topic in this. They'll show you how, oh look, if you put on a map the locations of these doors, it's revealing Lucifer's sigil. You will have people then say, well, Lucifer's just the light bringer, he's not saying it got mistranslated. I've talked about this. But you got to think about magic and intent. If your intent is different from someone else's intent, it's the polarization. One man's good is another man's bad, and so on and so on. But when you then talk about, well, they're opening portals to get Lucifer, well, some say Lucifer is Satan, the adversary, more than one name, one more face. See where I'm going? And people in ancient times and all the times have said Lucifer is another name for Janus, the janitor. Janitor has the keys, the frequency keys. Everything has to go through him, his door, his story. How many more connections to a topic, to a god, that if these people put their fucking brains to, they could excel and accelerate this so everyone could understand it even more than what I'm capable. Because we all have our piece. Maybe my piece was just to get people into the topic and are smarter, and people who can see patterns way better than me. And these are what we need to get together. We need unity, because people think unity has to mean you agree with everything. You don't. You just have to show respect. You don't agree with a thing, just move on to the next time. Oh, then this makes more sense, Paul. And this is what I see with this. They're talking about opening up 5 poles. One of them's in prison, yet they don't mention the connection between St. Peter, the Vatican, and Janus. Not only is he king of portals and doorways, transitions and endings, and everything has to go through him. He tells Ovid that. He's also the epitaph for St. Peter, the first pope, archmage, archpriest. also goes named by Lucifer. So when you get like ding, 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 you're knocking the things down, it's like, why are people not talking about this? Because I'm sure these people would go, wow. Do you know what I mean? And that bit where it came to me at night, I'm not saying no one else has talked about it, I'm just saying it came to me overnight. I'm like, what is some of these reasons? I didn't just want to say, yeah, it's Janus and there's the video. And now I'll come up with a couple of reasons. Could it be them moving the poles? Opening the prison? Apollyon, the destroyer. Destroyer could be a frequency of negativity. Maybe it's like a tap, because they're only allowed so much of it in to balance good and bad. But they have overstepped this, and there's more, seems to be more negative than there is positive. We need both positive and negative in here. It's just amazing, and this journey of me making this video, so thinking of, well, I wish these guys would watch the channel more because they would have seen that video, to me thinking, thank you for giving me a kick up the arse to make it, because I never would have saw these things. I mean, the groundbreaking thing of shalom, aloha, ciao is all derived by not me coming up with this, by other people, linguists. It's a beginning and an end. It's hello, beginning, and goodbye is the end. And they postulate through the way that's how it became known as a Janus word. So shalom means peace, and some say the root of it is what they named Jerusalem. And also, if you look at how they named Jerusalem, it says it also came from, Salem, a god, one of the two. I've talked about that in video 2. One is dusk and one is dawn of the star. So that is another connection. But that blew me away, and I thought, you know what, this video is going to be brilliant just for that fact of that word being Janus. But then to get to, there's 5 portals, 5 trumpets, are they doing that? And that just blew me away. I was like, I can't believe that's came to me, and I can't wait. I get so excited. I'm like, I'll have to finish this because I'm working on another video as we speak. But it's just mind blowing. So to think about the connection, so that, guys, is basically it is why I research Janus, because he seems to be connected. His fingers are in all the pie. People always ask me, is he good, is he bad? He's neither. But it has to go through him. So if you have evil intent, it's like, you know, having 2 wires side by side, 2 poles, 2 11s. One of them is exposed, and if you touch it, and the other one is earthed, and you're fine. You know what I mean? Does that mean it's evil because it's exposed, or is that just the plain truth? See, it's how you look at things. But that is just what it is with Janus. I started off making videos on, I used to call him Janus, but it's actually with a Y, Janus. And I thought, because he's a god of gods and that, and he was the god, he was evil. Then when you then start to delve deeper in it, it's just how I've explained it. Whatever goes into him is the intent. And I can't say anything plain, and you'll have people saying, Janus is Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump is showing you traits of Janus because he's a god of gods. He isn't Janus. You're as much Janus as Donald Trump. But it's them fitting in the profile of Janus to him, like Bill Gates. He's named after him. Does that mean he is him? No. I am the door. We all have a door in us. And we all have aspects of Janus. Personality, personas, faces. It's why the biggest ritual that they ever did a few years ago on lockdown everywhere and made people wear face masks to make them two-faced was all a ritual to Janus. And all this has been in my videos for years and gets ignored because we're only a small channel. Or I just get overlooked. I'm talking bollocks, which to be fair I am sometimes. But I just show what I find. And it's like this video. People asking me, about this subject, saying you should look into it. I've done a video on it. It's kicking me up the arse because I was making another video which I'm excited about, and the stuff I've found in this. So you're going from a reason of 5 portals, all the connections to Janus. Could they be to be changing the poles, opening door portals to another reality? I mean, even in the intro, you got Stranger Things, opening portals. What's that character called? I'll wait. Oh yes, 11. They could have chose anything, any number. No, they chose that. And the more you know, people always say that, the more you know, and ignore this topic at your peril. He's not the janitor for no reason. Everything goes through him. He controls both mortal and immortal. That is just groundbreaking. So all these old videos, if you've not watched them, please go back. They're all on the channel, apart from the Holy Door that is on Odyssey. But the other ones, the Skeleton Key, the Deus Deorum, all these videos that you saw me using here are all worth to watch. Watch them in full, because you'll make connections. And that's just why I'm here, guys. I'm here to make connections, you know, show you a different way, a different path, a path in life. Take the red pill, take the blue pill. It's a path. It's a petar. It's Peter. It's the rock. I did a video on that about the Peter gods, interpreters. And I just get absolutely mind blown because all these things are out there. You just have to find it. I ain't perfect. Far from it. You know what I mean? And sometimes I get one-tracked, because when I hit a topic, I just look for all the information I can on that. But you can't put everything in, because you've only got so many hours in the day, and people are not going to watch a video for hours. So guys, here is my video on the holy doors, the holy portals. I've showed you who the god of doorways and portals is. I've showed you why they're doing it at the Vatican, because of the connection of him being the first Pope and King, first priest. I've showed you the connection with Peter and why he was buried, why he was crucified on the doorway, in between 2 11s. I've showed you all them connections, and in other videos there's other stuff that you may want to know, so check that out. Then I postulated at the end of why they're doing it. Opening a doorway, opening up knowledge, changing the shift in the poles. Is that to break access or break someone out? Whatever you loose on earth, you loose up there. I'm assuming as above so below, you would have it in the hell, or we in the hell. Again, you know, there is prison cells in heaven. So heaven and hell. H is, etymologically, it was a door. Take away the H of both hell and heaven, you're left with L and Evan, 11. That's an old video. So I'm just mind blown. And guys, again, please like, share and subscribe. People are getting unsubscribed all the time, so I need your help. I want us to be amongst everyone's thoughts. Hey, check out the Black Sheep Researcher, because you are a part of this channel. Without you, I'm talking to myself. So all those things in this video have just shaken me to my core and made me look at things totally different again. And I've researched the Janus topic for years, and I've come across more info in this video just because you guys give me the kick up the arse. So, yeah, Paul, come on, let's have the old video. And that made me think, you know what, that video wasn't so good, let me re-edit it. So the why and the whom and the possibility of why the portals are in the first place is all in this video. So guys, stay safe, always wear a smile, love you guys. And if you want to help the channel, please like, share and subscribe. And the barcode, if you want to buy me a coffee or buy me a bar, is there. And I'll see you soon, because I'm working on another video now. So hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully you've been wowed. Stay safe, always wear a smile, don't let that embarrass those grinders down. Bye guys. Bye.